You don't do caffeine, do you?
No, I can't. I got AFib.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that kicks my heart.
Yeah, we'll skip the caffeine for you.
Yeah, I can't do caffeine.
We killed our Cuban.
Right? Motherfuckers didn't tell me.
Man, what an honor.
Oh man, no, I appreciate it. I know the hustle, man. I always try to help dudes that are trying to make it work.
That's kind of what I thought, you know? It's just like, man, he's just helping out a young guy
I know
trying
what it's
to do
like.
it.
Yeah, I know what it's like to try to build a business, right?
Because obviously.
Yeah, so I was like I get media all the time, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
4 dudes in cowboy hats? Never.
I got you a gift.
Oh, look at that, see?
Sitting at a basketball game, sometimes a cowboy hat.
Is not going to work for the people behind you. I told you I got a big ass head.
We'll get you a bigger one. I'll show you.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
It's going to look good, though.
I always look good. These guys a sponsor?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Friends of
we'll
mine.
right up, yeah, okay.
Right outside of Fort Worth, Bowie, Texas.
Yeah.
And so I've got so many questions.
Fire away. Ask me anything.
Well, I'd love to start with your main go-to with Cost Plus Drugs.
Yeah, so I got a cold email, just like you cold emailed me, right?
Yes, sir.
And it was a guy who was starting a pharmacy in Denver, and we started talking. He wanted to cut the cost of pharmaceuticals because drugs, it's a mess, right? Drugs are too expensive. And so we started getting into it, and I told him he was thinking too small, right? That we should start a site that sold not just the ones he could make, but all generic drugs. And, and the big challenge for the whole healthcare industry is nobody trusts anybody but the doctor, right?
Right.
And you basically have to do that. And it's like, you're getting ripped off. You just don't know how.
Yes,
and
sir.
so with Cost Plus, if you go to costplusdrugs.com and you put in the name of the medication you got to take, like guys my age might get generic Cialis, generic Viagra, right?
Yeah.
And you put it in there, Tadalafil, and we'll show you the cost of the medication.
What you guys bought it for.
We actually pay, yeah, our actual cost.
Which is unheard of, right? Yeah.
So that's the first time it's ever been done. Nobody, right? And still nobody. And we've been doing it for over 2 years. So we show you our cost. We mark it up 15% and we show you that. We have a pharmacy fill fee for the pharmacist to get paid. And then if it's mail order, we ship it to you and we charge you the shipping, the $5, or you can pick it up at a local pharmacy if they're part of our network. And that's it. And so by doing that, now with over 2,000 drugs, we just changed the business. And we've got people come in that need chemo medications and all these other drugs that I couldn't even explain what they are. And, we're getting letters and emails from people saying, hell, I was paying $2,000 a month in rationing, and now it costs me $30, or like, again,
2,000 from 30.
Or like you see those dudes on television, row and this and that and the chewables, and it's $10 a pill. Well, we're going to make your wife happy. You can get 90 of those pills for $10, right? Plus shipping and handling.
Golly.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, all you guys out there and all you women who, you know what I'm saying.
Need the stuff. Go to Cost Plus Drugs.
Exactly. We just, it's so cheap. Like it's cheaper than M&Ms. You just get a big old bowl of that generic Cialis, Viagra, put it right next to your bed. You just pop one right before bed, right? It's cheaper. It's like nothing. And so,
Here, try mine. Because I've got a big melon.
like literally me and my son. Other way around. Oh, see, I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
That looks pretty good.
Here you go. And then I've got this one.
There you go. Because dope hat.
It's off the screen.
Got to hold those brains, right?
I got all those brains.
Brains is what it is. So anyways, long story short, so if you go to costplusdrugs.com and you put in the name of your drug, you're going to see our cost, our markup, and there's a 90% chance we're going to save you a lot of money.
That's awesome.
And even if you have insurance, because you might have a high deductible plan where you have to pay a lot out of pocket. You might have a high copay. Even in like Medicare, Medicaid sometimes, you might have a copay, and we might be cheaper.
Yes, sir. Dang. That is wild to think about.
And small town Texas everywhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Just go to costplusdrugs.com.
And y'all haven't done an ounce of marketing
Not one penny.
outside of, you might mention it on podcasts
Yeah,
occasionally.
just earn media and stuff like this, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I know, like my buddies, right? It's like when I told them for $10 they can get you 90 of those pills. They tell their friends, and who tell their friends, and I tell our friends. And if you, if we're saving you thousands of dollars a month for your chemotherapy drugs, then you're telling everybody you know that's got that same problem, right?
Right.
You're telling your doctor, and your doctor's telling all their patients, and that's how the word spreads. And, you know, I knew that when we started that's how it would work.
What a product when you know, your word of mouth is your best advertising.
Sure, right? Those are the best products. I mean, but, you know, nobody dies healthy. All of us are going to have to deal with it at some point, right?
Right.
And so, you know, I just wanted to try to make it better. And you know, the crazy part is, it's not been hard. This has been like, I've been in a lot of disruptive businesses. This has been the easiest one.
Yes, sir.
Because, you know, when you get into it, you see you know, so many people in healthcare, they just squeeze you for everything they can, right?
Yes, sir.
They'll nickel and dime you. They'll take this, they'll take that. And if you're just transparent so that people can trust you,
yes, sir,
they'll do everything they can to do business with you. And then that's really been the game changer.
It's something too. I imagine. Have you had like the big guys try to buy you out already?
Yeah, we got inquiries, but like, what the? I mean, my next dollar is not going to change my life.
Yes, sir.
Right? You know, it's just like, if I have the choice between making some more money, or, you know, excuse my French, fucking up the healthcare industry.
Yeah. Oh,
what's
yeah.
more fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What's more fun? You know, there's messing up the healthcare industry, winning championships with the Mavericks that we got so close this year. My family, not, you know, you can readjust those. This is fun.
They're going up against somebody who needs nothing. And that's
and they're all, you know, nobody looks at it and says, okay, those are the good guys.
Right.
What are you doing to them, Mark? You're taking out the good guys. This is the exact opposite. It's like, go get them, right?
Yeah.
Take them down, right? Because they're making it miserable for everybody.
Yeah, it's not like you're going up against nurses or
right.
somebody.
Yeah, put those nurses or doctors out of business.
Teachers.
Right? No, nothing like that at all. It's, we make their lives easier.
Yes, sir.
Because everybody's got somebody in their family and just had to deal with a medical bill, or, you know, you had your kid or whatever, and it's just like everybody's terrified of that bill.
Right.
I don't care how good insurance you have. Everybody's terrified of that bill.
I mean, going to the hospital one time is expensive when you show up, but then knowing that you might have this monthly bill attached to it for the medication is where
it's brutal. Yeah.
Well, that's super neat. And it was interesting to me. You said you spend about 75% of your time there. You know, when you're not, you know, in free agency.
You're right.
But
yeah, now we're good with that.
So the other 25%, oh my gosh, you guys just got Klay Thompson.
I know, insane, isn't it?
That's
wild. Klay to the Mavs, man. You know,
good heavens.
Shout out to Nico and Michael Finley. I mean, I hired Nico because the whole idea was we weren't getting the free agents we wanted, right? And they weren't coming. And so Nico had a great background, you know, worked with Kobe, worked with all these different athletes at Nike. And it was like, okay, you know, recruiting somebody for a shoe deal is like recruiting somebody to come play for the Mavs. And he had the relationship, has the relationships, you know, players like him, you know, a lot. And so he just had that ability to communicate. And, you know, he's doing exactly what we brought him in to do, and he's doing it really, really well.
Right. Man, what a move.
Props to Nico.
I could not. I've only been to 2 games.
Well, we'll change that. We'll change that.
Oh, man.
How far a drive was it for y'all?
2 hours.
Oh, that ain't that bad.
Yeah.
No.
I love going to.
They're fun, aren't
they?
So
I've always been a fan of basketball, and I love watching it, and, you know, highlights, full games.
Oh, you probably played, right? They're probably. I didn't say you played well, right? Yeah.
I enjoy playing, but
right?
I enjoy the thought of it.
Of the ball going in.
I love watching it, but I mean, on the back of a horse, I'm fine. I would go play pickup games in in college.
Yeah.
But man, I love watching them. But one of the games I've been to was you guys playing the Warriors, and it was electric. And it was last year that I went to that game, and watching the Warriors and their chemistry, it was so interesting to me that you guys. That was what was interesting to me about the Klay, you know.
Yep.
Signing.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously they were together for a long time.
Right.
And sometimes it's, you know, sometimes you break up with the girl you dated a long time, and, you know, divorce happens for a reason. And, you know, Klay had his reasons, and I think he just wanted a fresh start. It was a difficult situation for all of them there. It's, you know, you win all those championships, and, you know, you think you're going to be together forever. Right.
Right.
But we're grateful. I think he's going to be great with Luka and Kyrie, and, you know, he'll take pressure off of them, and they'll take pressure off of him. you know, with the Warriors, they have a lot of motion offense, so he was always having to run off the screens and pin downs and all this stuff. And with Luka, all he's got to do is like hold his hand up in the corner, or Luka's going to hit him with a pass, or Kyrie will hit him with a pass. And so I think he's going to get a lot more open looks than easier open looks than he had before.
Is sign? I mean, obviously, it's going to be neat when they're all three on the court at the same time. But is it? Do you see more with? As much as I love to watch it, I'm a little bit in the dark on some of the strategy. Right. I would assume that, you know, Clay coming onto the team would be like, now when Clay and Kyrie are on the court, it'll save Luka some minutes and give him a rest.
Sure, or vice versa, right? Or vice versa, right? Because, like, when Timmy Hardaway was rolling, right, the court would open up, right? And Timmy's a great shooter. Clay's even better. And so what happens is when you have Clay out there, you have to stay close to him. And when you have to stay close to him, that's more from Luka, room for Luka or Kyrie to do their thing. And then we also added Najee Marshall, who's, you know, 38, 39% three-point shooter, even better from the corners. We added Quentin Grimes, who's a guard. You can play point guard or shooting guard. Who's also 37, 38% shooter. So it gives us more consistency. And they played in offenses where, again, their shots were harder to come by. They had to produce their own shots. They're going to feast with Luka and Kyrie getting the ball.
Man, it was sad to see Powell leave. That was sad.
Oh, no, Powell's still with us.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, Dwight's still with us. I'm like, Powell, no, I'm thinking Canada. No, he's playing in Canada. No, Josh Green left.
He did?
Yeah, Josh Green went to Charlotte as part of the deal. So he'll be reunited with Grant Williams. And then we lost Timmy Hardaway and then Derek Jones Jr., high flyer. Yeah, he went to the Clippers, which, you know, we didn't like losing any of them, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yes, sir. Right. Man, what a trio that's coming.
I know, it's going to be insane, right? It's going to be so much fun.
I bet you guys are. I had a moment where, you know, having gone to a couple games, somebody reached out to me about going to some more, and I thought maybe, you know, they saw my Instagram or something, and I was like, they want to see Dale Brisby at a basketball game. But it was, you know, it was your team doing
their outreach.
You know, doing outreach on, you know, selling a suite,
more tickets, right? Which yeah, they know the sales. Yeah, that's right.
Like, this guy bought second row. I'm sure he's ready to. And I was like, all right, still, I'll pay. I mean, like, joke's on you, I'd have paid more, you know, like, I was still excited. And then he said, well, joke's on you, we'd have taken less. But, yeah. But no, for a moment there, I was, but I think I spoiled myself the first game I went to. I can't remember which ticket website I was on, but just watching, and then we kind of traded up and I was on the second row.
Dang.
To that Warriors game.
Yeah, when you're that close, you see how big and fast they are.
Oh, my gosh.
It's insane how athletic they are. Like, you might think you or one of your friends is athletic.
Yes.
But it's nothing compared to these guys. Nothing.
You know, in rodeo, there's aspects of our sport that we were talking the other day, and it's fascinating for people to watch, but it's also, if you're not educated in it, you might not understand why this person won compared to this person.
Right. Like, well, I've been to rodeos, right? I've been, you know, stockyards and everything.
Exactly.
And it's just like 8 seconds to just try not to get killed. But you can't tell, right? Is it core? Is it leg strength holding on? Arm strength? I have no idea.
But, man, with one of those NBA games, it doesn't take a rocket scientist.
What does it take to be a great bull rider, right? Like, I have no idea.
So it's the mechanics of, you know, there's certain things for you to dunk a basketball. You've got to have a vertical. You've got to have, but with bull riding, you know, it's all counterintuitive. He's going to jump up in the front, and then he's going to jump forward. So you've got to counteract that, and you've got to essentially go to the front. You've got to lean forward.
So it's your reaction time and your strength, basically. So you've got to anticipate.
There's definitely strength involved.
Yeah, strategy and then quick response, quick reactions. Or do they all do the same thing? It's just how strong
No, they don't. It's all different. But essentially, you've got to counterbalance your weight on the bull.
Right.
And when he comes up and he's jumping forward, you've got to move forward with him. But the trick is, when those horns come up, your intuition tells you to get back.
Yeah,
well, that's not the fundamental. That'll get you bucked off. And so it's counterintuitive, where if you let your fear take over, well, then you're not going to do the fundamentals.
Right.
And so it's once you get to a certain athleticism, it's very mental. It's very mental.
So what scares you you, because like when I went, there was like the one bull, right? That was like nobody wanted to ride that bull. That guy, you weren't lasting a second on whatever its name was, right?
Right.
So like when you get one of those, it's just like shit. Hold on as long as I can, then it's over fast.
So the game is, and the great ones, the great bull riders like myself, we are able to not listen to those intuitions of how do I survive this, and more like take the fight to the bull.
Right. Take the challenge, yeah.
And when you can ignore those emotions, well, then it's easier for you to be counterintuitive.
So because how do you not last 8 seconds on every fucking bull?
Oh man, it is so.
Oh, I know it's got to be impossible. You're obviously just talking trash.
No, I know,
but
it's crazy for people watching how many people think that it's so much easier.
Yeah, I could just do 8 seconds. What's 8 seconds, right?
And I mean, Ocho Cinco, I don't know if you remember, he said that on Twitter or something, and then the PBR was like, all right, we'll come get on one. And because he's obviously one of the more elite athletes in the world, and he lasted like 0.2 seconds or something. But is he strong enough and fast enough? Absolutely. But he couldn't control those
mental
emotions.
Side, yeah. I can just imagine. You see that coming at you, right? And just the strength and power, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, Luca, he wants to come out, and he told me he was going to get on a bull, and so
hell no. You think I'm going to let him get on a bull? There ain't no chance. No chance.
I mean, he can probably win $1,000. You know,
right?
Like, that's a good side income.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking at this hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, but that $1,000 on the back of Destroyer, the all-time bucking, hell no.
No, if he were to reach out to me, I would. For yours, I would say, man, let's not do that. Maybe after retirement.
Out to you for that, we got bigger problems.
We got bigger problems. His mental health might be in a bigger issue.
Right.
Is that 25% of your time that you spend on the Mavericks just a day off, or is it all a day off?
No. I mean, between family, my kids are 14, 17, and 20, and 2 of them are still at home. My son's 14, and, you know, at that age, he just likes to talk trash and mess with me, so... And then my 17-year-old daughter, about to turn 18, she's a rower. So she's at rowing camp right now.
Fun.
She's really, really good, too. She got recruited and all that kind of stuff. So just trying to keep up with them. And my oldest is in Tennessee at Vanderbilt. So spending as much time as I can with my kids. And then just all the other businesses and stuff. You know, my Shark Tank businesses that I've invested in, my other investments, just trying to help them.
16 seasons.
It's insane, isn't it? I'm getting ready to film my last pod.
If you know anything about Dale Brisby, you know that I'm the world's greatest bull rider. I wear a tall crown. I dated your mom, but also I love watching basketball, specifically the Mavericks. Been to a few games in person. You got to go see it. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. They're as good at basketball as I am bull riding. Also, another endeavor Mark Cuban has tackled is cost plus drugs. They show you how much the drugs cost online, and then they mark them up 15%. So you can get your medication for dirt cheap. If you'd like some of this delicious ranch fuel, then go to ranchfuel.com for 15% off. And I believe they have free shipping going right now. If you hurry, use code Dale on ranchfuel.com. Also, rodeotime.com. For a deal you can feel, old son. Check out rodeotime.com. We got new styles dropping every day. Last but not least, my sponsors, American Hat, Rock and Roll Denim, Total Feeds, Can-Am Side-by-Sides, Mountain Op Supplements. Back to Mark.
I'm getting ready to film my last pod. So when we shoot, we break it up into 2 sections, part in June and then part in September. And then we get there, normally we get there and it's like 10, 12 days in June. It's just bam, 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 bam. We get there, we start shooting deals at like 8:30 or whatever. And they just bring them in one after another. We don't shoot like episodes, we shoot deals. Because not all the people who come in and pitch us even make it on TV.
Wow.
Because like if you're boring, you're not going to make it on TV. Or
right.
if something stupid happens, you're not going to make it on TV.
Right.
And so, but with this year, because of the playoffs, it's funny because the NBA used to always end on June 12th, and I started shooting Shark Tank June 13th. But this year, for whatever reason, the NBA ended later, like the 18th or whatever. So, you know, we wanted to go to the finals, but I'd be lying if I said I expected us to, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, we'll make it, you know, conference finals, that'd be great. So we get to the finals. So literally I'm going to our game in Minnesota and then flying to LA for Shark Tank. After we're shooting Shark Tank, like we shoot from like 9 until 7, give or take. And then I'm changing and jumping on the plane, going back to where, Minnesota or Boston, and then flying back. It just kicked my ass. And so they gave us a couple of extra days off in there to kind of keep me sane. And then I go back in September and we shoot for like 12 days. Then I'm done. That's it. That's my last season.
Oh, it's your last season.
My last season, yeah.
Is it Shark Tank's last season?
No, Shark Tank will keep on going, but because my kids are older now and I wanted to spend more time and I got all this other stuff going on, it's just tough to, and it's not even the shooting. The shooting is actually kind of easy and fun, but you do a deal with some of these companies and you got to spend time and you got to deal with it, right? So that was the big deal.
Man.
Yeah.
They lost a big shark.
Big shark.
Killer.
Right? Big shark. He'll be fine without me.
Yeah. I sat next to Damon at the
DJ's a good dude, man.
at the UFC fights, and I don't have cable, but I go to my grandmother's house once a month, and we'll watch. We will watch.
You can get us on Hulu, so
yeah. We watch. She saves them all.
Oh, she does?
I'll stay there and we'll watch
I said thanks.
15 episodes in a row.
Well, you're an entrepreneur, right? You got to get into that.
100%.
I double entrepreneur. You got this stuff. You got
my apparel line.
Yeah.
I take notes. Like I will write things down off of Shark Tank.
That's cool.
I love it.
That's
and
very cool.
Really more it's just like, all right, I need to Google this word. I need to make sure I know this stuff.
Trust me, there's sometimes I'm there, I'm like, what the fuck is he saying? Right?
Like sometimes I think I would go in because, when family members of mine, they see that I'm got my main revenue stream is my apparel line, Rodeo Time. And, everyone's, immediately when they hear that you're self-employed or you're a business, you got to go on Shark Tank.
Right. I know. I get that all the time, man.
There's a little more to it than that. And
you should apply to be on Shark Tank. There's no downside.
I daydream about it.
I'll email me again and I'll connect you with the producer.
Well,
you get on there, worst case, it's a great commercial, right, for millions of people.
Right.
Best case, you get a deal.
How do they feel about an apparel line?
Fine. Oh, yeah, we get some dumbass apparel lines on there. So you guys, you'll crush it.
Man, I'll have to bring
you have a real company.
I'll have to bring my bookkeeper.
No, you'll get it down. It's your baby.
One thing, though, that I wouldn't do, which I feel like a lot of them mess up with, is overvaluating.
Oh, some of that's crazy, right? But those are the people that just come in for the commercial. Wait, this will give me a headache. This is like
take it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for wearing it.
Oh, of course. Yeah. People come in just when you see people like, I want $500,000 for 1% of my company, right?
Crazy.
They don't want to do a deal. They know the drill. They've seen the show. But I don't mind that because that's when I just start banging on them, right? I'm
yes,
like,
sir.
You think your shit don't stink, right? It's just like, come on, let's see what you got.
You turn your head a little like this. You'll turn it to the right off camera, and you're looking, and that's when Mark's thinking this is silly.
Here it comes, right? Here it comes. And you don't even see to give you the inside Shark Tank, it's edited down, right? So some of those deals can be, the dumb ones, they'll get out in 25, 30 minutes. Like the intense ones can go 90 minutes. They can just go and go and go. Yeah. So they all have to be edited down to be on TV. Well, we know it's edited. The entrepreneurs that come on, they don't know how it's edited, right?
Right.
So there'll be times when they'll say something stupid and I'll just start cursing at them. Or any of us will start, what the f***? Who the f*** do you think you are? Sorry, I don't mean you're going to have to bleep out your whole podcast.
It's okay.
That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. They'll be like, oh.
They did not see.
They did see it coming, right? Or sometimes Kevin, particularly, because he always does the dumb offers, right? Kevin, is and I love Kevin to death, but not the way he does business. And it's just like when everybody else is saying no, Kevin's like, here's a chance for me, right? Maybe they'll say yes. And he'll well, I want a 17% royalty and this and that. And there was one time in particular where this guy said, I'm not going to do that. That's the dumbest deal I ever heard. And Kevin just went up. Fuck you, bitch. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You only wish. Oh, my God.
Mr. Wonderful.
This was not so wonderful, right? And
my God.
Yeah. And there's other times when, because we've known each other so long. We've been doing it together 15 years. Lori's awesome. But, double entendres where you'll make a joke that she doesn't get, and then she'll have to ask for clarification. It's just her asking, we had these vitamins one time that that came on, and they were spray vitamins.
Okay.
And, and the guy goes, "It's for people who can't swallow." And we go to Lori. "What do you think, Lori?" And you can hear one dude cracking up, who's her husband, Bubba, right? Damn. And we're like, "Bubba!" Oh my God. There's just sometimes where we just start cracking up and dying. And every season they do a bloopers reel, and they refuse to release it to the public.
Oh,
because
dang.
we all have things. I have my things where I f***ed up,
Yeah.
right, or whatever, right? Oh, it's just hysterical. But that's one of the
funny.
all-time classics. Lori, do you swallow? She's going to kill me for saying it, but, you know.
So what? This is the part that makes me nervous for any entrepreneur on the show. When it comes up that they get an offer, like maybe the first shark, like, do you always take the first offer, or do you listen to the rest of them?
It depends on who the offer is from. If it's
Okay.
from me, you better take it, or otherwise I'm going out.
Right, yeah.
If it's from anybody else, you should listen to the other offers.
So you're the only one.
I'm the only one that probably.
Is that why they put you on the end all the time?
No, I like moved around at the beginning, and then it just ended up where they put me at the end.
Okay.
But yeah, you just, you know, unless it's somebody you really want. Like if you want Robert or Damon or Barbara or whoever, okay, cool, just say yes. But anyone else, you just wait it out.
You shake hands. What percentage of those deals get axed after the handshake?
So here's the way it works, right? So we say yes for your clothing line. Then we get to do due diligence, because what happens is you're up there and you know you're on TV. You know millions of people are going to be watching you, right?
Yeah.
People start lying out their ass.
Oh man,
Right?
I can't imagine.
We've had deals where, do you have any debt? No, we have no debt. Then you go and look it up, and they have like $300,000 in credit cards. And they're like, well, that's not debt, that's credit cards. And then, you know, oh, how your sales going to be for the year? Well, we've got it all lined up. We're going to do.
We're projected to.
Yeah, we're going to do $2 million this year. How much have you done so far? 150,000. Okay. Well, we're going to do our due diligence, right? And they'll cut this part out. What you're going to do, so you're going to have to live up to this, right? You're not
Yeah.
bullshitting, right? Oh no! Then you get there, you know, 3 months later, as you're going through their sales are gone down, not
Right.
up, right? And they were just hoping that the show airs, and that's what'll get them there. So we get to do due diligence, and for me, probably 60% of the deals close.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, that's better than I thought.
yeah.
That's better than I thought. So, just an insight into mine, something I, don't like to share on podcasts, but I'm not going to miss an opportunity to get advice from you. The only debt I do have is outside of the company, and it's a few rental properties.
That's cool.
Yeah.
As long as they pay for themselves, right? As long
Right.
as you're not having to
Yeah, they cash flow.
Yeah, as long as they cash flow, you're good, right? You just got to make sure you got insurance, and you don't just spend it all. Because some people, like, they're trying to build a portfolio of rental properties, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is great, but they don't anticipate all the things that can go wrong. Like, do you have all the insurances? Like, are
Yep.
you in Tornado Alley? Are you
Yep.
where something's going to flood? Or, who are you insuring the people that you put in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they crazy, right? And going to tear it apart? If if you're careful with that stuff, it's great, man, because particularly in Texas where things are appreciating, your only real risk is property tax and insurance.
Yes, sir. That's what I thought. With my apparel line, like, I never wanted to, for instance, and maybe one day I should, but take out like a line of credit on the
No,
actual.
if you don't have to, don't do
Yeah.
it. Like, I hated debt. Debt was the worst, right? Because then you're not running your company for yourself. You're running it for the bank or whoever.
Yes.
Even investors, it's the same way, right? Nobody gives you money expecting nothing back, right? And so if you can go without investors, all the better, because then you have complete control. Once you give up a percentage of the company, it's not that you don't control it, right? But you always have to think in the back
You're
of your mind.
answering to somebody.
Yeah, you're answering to somebody. So when I email you and I say, hey, what's up? How's business? Da-da-da-da-da. You got to answer me.
So, what is it that, which I have my reasons why I would still be down to do it, but what is it that makes you suggest someone like I go on there?
Oh, just because, worst case, you get a great commercial,
Oh, I see.
right? If you don't get the right deal that you want, I mean, now all of a sudden, between DVRs and online and YouTube, 10 million people are going to see you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting that anywhere else.
Right. Yeah. But Yeah, because I feel like it would be a great deal for me to, you know, as far as just having someone with better connections.
Yeah, it's not even the connections, right? Because, like, what do you have in sales, give or take?
I don't know this year. I know we're doing better than last year, somewhere around.
Oh, you're killing it, right? And that means you're making good money. And so it's really just about expanding the brand and getting in front of more people. And since you're already like hardcore into PBR, everybody knows you and loves you and wears it and shows it off and all that. And you've got your community. And so what I would tell you if you came on the show is the key to growing isn't connections, it's community, right? Because that's what supports you now, right? Because was it cowboy time?
Rodeo time.
Rodeo time, right? So when I wear rodeo time, everybody knows what I'm about.
Yes, sir.
Right, because everybody's a brand these days on social media. You got your Dallas Mavs shirts. You're a Mavs fan. You wear that. You wear it with pride, right? I wear my rodeo time. Everybody knows I'm into rodeo. Know Hadley, know the crew, right? And you know I wear that with pride. And everybody knows that's my brand, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm country. I'm rodeo, and so you want to build those people, right? You want to get to more people in more places, and you want to have a way online for all of them to connect to each other. So they probably come in and on your Instagram and maybe your website, but mostly your Instagram and probably TikTok, they're leaving comments and, you know, they're tagging you and everything. You want to have somebody responding to every comment.
Yes, sir.
Do you do that?
Not everyone. We try to, we could do better.
Yeah, literally an intern. That's all they do, right? And you get in there every now and then, hitting the heart and hitting with a video reply, because when you connect to them, it's like me coming out here with you guys, right?
Yeah.
It's a connection, right?
It makes you real.
It makes you real, right? There we go. And it makes people understand that, you know, that they're part of the community.
Yes, sir.
And so that's the most important part. So, like, how many Instagram followers do you have and how many TikTok?
1.1 and 1.5.
Okay, so that's awesome, right? So how do you get the connections? Aren't going to get you to 4 million or 5 million, right? It's just building that community, you know. And I don't, you know, PBR now, you guys have tried to do teams and everything, because I know someone reached out to me.
Sir.
So you're in a lot of different cities,
yes,
right?
Sir.
So how can you go into those different cities and find local retailers that'll promote you, and then you go do appearances there, which you probably do some already?
Yes, sir.
What percentage of your business is online? What percentage is wholesale?
40% is online, 20%, or I'm sorry, another 40% is in retail stores, and then 20% is the booths that we'll go to, like I'll set up.
That's awesome. That's smart as hell, right? So now the question, and you do them on the entire tour where you set up booths at
we do about 10 a year.
10 a year.
3 or 4 day long.
So you do the state fair, and you do then you do all the different PBR events. And so, you know, then the question becomes, what are the economics for you to get to more than 10 events? And when you get to those events, does everything you sell have a little sticker or something or a card that comes with it that says, tag us, follow us, and here's our hashtag?
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so that everybody sees it. And, you know, if you're getting those people to wear it and go online with it and follow you, and then you're responding to them, you own them.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then when you say, hey, let's get everything going on, or hey, I'm going, where else should I go? Right. Now, once you get, you know, you're already at that spot now. Do you do drops at all?
You mean like limited edition?
Yeah. Well, you know how like with shoes, they'll do a drop, right? So a drop is like when you say, I'm coming out with a one-off, right? And we're going to release it on this date, right? And I only have 500 of them or 1,000 of them.
So I haven't yet, and the reason I haven't is because of my wholesale customers that, you know, I'm in those stores, and
you don't want to compete with them, right?
Well, they want a replenishment all the time, but online I could do that.
Right, that's what I'm saying, online, right? So you do it online because then you can pre-sell everything. You can sell a premium because it's limited edition, and you can pre-sell it. Like, okay, I'm going to do this drop. Trust me, it's going to be amazing. You got to buy them first, right? But all these things get you people that are more interested, right, and build your community.
Yes, sir.
And then, like, if you go to 10 events, you probably have your booth and everything already set. You know how much inventory you have to take, all the size distribution you have to take, and then you know how many people are going to be there and what you're going to sell,
sir.
right? And 9 out of 10 times, that's exactly what happens unless it rains, right?
Correct.
So then the next question becomes, Can you go to the smaller rodeos? Can you go to stock car racing? Can you do those things? Because that's where you get your crossover. That builds your community and your sales.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to figure out the balance of, so this week I was at an event for 3 full days. We left Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I came here. But so the thing that's grown my brand over the years, and the reason people come to the booth to meet me, is all my videos. I'll do skits, I'll do podcasts, vlogs, all the things. And so this week, the more I'm standing in the booth, the less videos I get to make. And so that's kind of my
It's
balance.
a catch-22.
Yes, sir, catch-22.
So, again, that's community.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So, like, if I go, like the Mavs do things, right? You get, first, you're going to get the same 50 people that come all the time, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you see, right? Where you get people who travel?
Some, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
But you want to, doing the videos is great. And you don't want to stop that because that's how you get your greatest reach, right?
Yes, sir.
But you want to come up with the formula where it doesn't have to be you, right? You may not sell as much, but you just got to sell enough.
Yes, sir.
Right? And that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Right? So if you sell, I'm picking a number, 25 grand worth at each event, right? And if you go to a smaller stock car and you have, Colt or whoever that's there doing it, right? Then that's great because your economics are smaller, right? But you're still building the brand.
Yes, sir.
And you're extending it. And you might have some misses, some more misses because you're not there.
Yes, sir.
Right? But that's okay too because you're learning and the goal is to extend the brand. So what I would do is, whatever your setup is, you could even do a thing where you have a big screen and you just dial in, right? Like zoom in, and you don't have to be there, but you can just talk to people that are there and have some fun.
Right.
Do some Q&A, buy a T-shirt, I'll answer your question, and you spend 20 minutes in this town, 20 minutes in that town, 20 minutes in that town, right? But having Colt or whoever, right, somebody that you hired that can go do those things, they put it in the truck, they got the setup, they go, how many setups do you have? You only have one right now because you just do one at a time. Two, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, and those are the bigger ones because you're probably going to be there, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have to do the economics so that no disrespect, Colt, but it's like, wait, Colt, okay. So Cole gets the mini truck, right? He gets the minivan, right?
Because he's so short.
Right. Yeah. And he gets the smaller setup, right? And if Cole gets it there or you can build some of your, I don't want to say influencers, but some other, do you have other PBR riders that?
Yeah, I've got some friends that ride, and then there's even some people on my team, Donnie, Jordan, that have a following after being in videos for 5 years.
Yeah, and that may work, so you get them, or you get some up-and-comers.
Yes, sir.
Right? Where you're saying, okay, the first 2, you're there with them, and you're building them, and the next 5, they go to the smaller markets or the ones you can't go to, and you build them up.
Yes,
so
sir.
that they can start doing videos, right? Because right now it's all on you, right? And it's like I've done Mr. Beast videos, right? And he's got a whole team of folks, right? And they all got their own personalities, and they're not doing their own stuff yet because he gets ungodly numbers, right? But it's the same concept. You start building people who work for you that are part of your program, right? And let them start doing their own videos, and they're basically, you have your own little entertainment and clothing empire at that point in time.
Yes, sir.
You just want to grow it out.
Man. And it's such a relief to hear you say that it's at least what I'm doing is close to. It's close to.
You got to be killing. Like if you came on Shark Tank, knowing what the margins are for the way you're doing it, you're killing it.
Yes, sir.
You're making good money. You're the BDE in your town, right?
Yeah.
And is he? Oh yeah. Right.
It's a small town, but
it doesn't matter though, right?
Yeah.
When he walks down the street, everybody's taking pictures.
They think he's an FBI informant.
Yeah.
You're an industry plant.
The people in my town think I'm like a undercover cop, but maybe it's because I have the blacked out rims on a Tahoe. But regardless,
there you go.
Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of that shit going around. Everybody thinks that about everybody now.
Right.
But you get the point, right? Because you're killing it. Right. So now, there's no real, okay, let me get connections so I can get in Walmart.
Yes, sir.
That's not going to help you, right? Because if you're trying to get into Walmart or a big retailer like that, your margins are going to drop, your cost for inventory goes way up, and if it doesn't sell in St. Louis or whatever, right, then they're returning that to you, and now, or they're asking for markdown money, and now you're screwed, right?
Yep.
Versus you build, you build your own roster of folks, riders or whoever, right, that are, because the PBR is going to help you as much as they can, right? Because, the more you grow, the more they grow.
Yes, sir.
Because they're trying to get to that next level in terms of TV and everything. And, have you taken your videos and asked them to package them and do little shows as wraparound content for their, when they air?
I've done some content with them. We had a Netflix show that helped us get some exposure.
Yeah.
And then we're working on some, a scripted show of our own that we're going to produce. And so
be careful on the scripted shows.
Really?
Yeah, that's expensive. Unscripted is cheaper.
Yes, sir.
You just do what you do like you do now. Scripted, if you're going to produce it and pay for it, right?
Yes, sir.
And it also takes a lot of time, all the cameras and everything, moving them around and all that, and all the different shots. Unscripted is cheaper, but you don't want to be the one paying for it.
Right.
You don't. If you've got somebody who's going to executive produce it for you, that's different. But if that's your baby, that's hard because getting distribution.
Definitely. Yeah, think about that. One thing I've tried to keep my eye out for that as far, like I love apparel. I can tell
by the way you dress, yeah.
Sorry?
I can tell by the way you dress.
Yeah, with my basketball shoes. But I love, the content game and making and marketing side of it, I think is what I'm better at. I love the entrepreneur side of building the business.
I can tell.
One thing I've thought about is, do I need to be looking for a different product in addition to just stay in my lane?
What you're good at, be great at.
Yes, sir.
How long you been doing it?
11 years.
Okay. Money you're making off of that, right? That's like a dream come true.
The YouTube started 11 years ago. The apparel was really just, it was more merch in the beginning, and then we got serious with the apparel about 6 or 7 years ago.
Even better, right? I mean, you're good at it. Now you're just trying to figure out strategically how to do it. But don't fall into the traps where typically people say, oh, here's the way you do it. You get a TV show, right?
Yes,
or
sir.
you do this or that. Do what you're good at. Just do more of it, right?
Yes,
anything
sir.
I just told you wasn't something different, right? It was just look for the leverage points that you can get to grow your community because that's who buys from you. And that's who tells people to buy from you. And if you're connecting with people on video, well, and you've got over 1 million followers on all the different platforms, you have reach, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can grow that reach by expanding your geographic base. And now the only thing you have to figure out is how to sell things without you being there, right? And the videos do that for you, but you've got, since 25% of your sales is, on site, you just got to do more of those. And when you do more of those, I'm betting that your retailers, a big chunk of them are where the PBR has stops and everything.
Rodeo towns.
Yeah, rodeo towns, right?
Yes, sir.
And so how do you go from not just the bigger rodeo towns, but the smaller rodeo towns and the little stores they got there? And, there's still, like in Fort Worth, whatever, right? It's not as big in Dallas, but that's still a big following where you can get in more stores there, right? But if more people you have showing up on your roster of, your stars, right? That's how you're going to grow it.
Yes, sir. Man, that's a great little session of...
I love talking this stuff, right? That's my thing.
Man, early on in the Micro Solutions days, I was just wondering if I feel like you as a just grassroots entrepreneur, having grown from 5 roommates.
Yeah, just me sleeping on the floor.
Right.
Like when we started Micro Solutions, I had just gotten fired, and I was sleeping on the floor, literally, no lie, eating mustard and ketchup sandwiches. My roommates used to give me so much, right? And it was just like I got fired, and it's like, okay, I suck as an employee.
Yes, sir.
I got to do something. And I was terrified, right? But, when you're broke, you only got one direction to go. That's what Damon talks about, the power of broke. You got one direction to go. And I figured, okay, what have I got to lose? Because I had nothing. Literally, like, yeah, I had nothing.
I can't remember where I heard you say it, but, you know, your story, you've used the word luck, where the timing of everything. Mm-hmm. But I think I'd heard you say that even someone with those circumstances in 2024, you feel like they probably have more opportunity, right?
Oh, yeah, because you got the leverage of online. Like I had to go door to door, literally, right? I had to go knock on companies' doors. I would, you know, I was getting started in the computer business, and I would go into different computer stores back then and say, hey, if you have anybody who needs help, here's my card, right? Call me. And back then, there wasn't no cell phones, right? So I had to be by the phone, checking my answering machines and all that kind of old nonsense. But today, I mean, you're a perfect example, right? You got online, you took your skill at writing, right? You became great at it, right? You took that skill, leveraged your personality to have fun.
Yes, sir.
Right? Saw that you were getting a response, tested some merch, took that next step. Then you turned it into a real, you know, retailer, right? Or a real clothing company, apparel company. That's the perfect approach, right?
Yes, sir.
The hard part for everybody is just finding something they could be good enough at to have something to sell. And most people don't want to put in the work, right? You talk to people all the time, right? They're like, hey, how'd you get this big, right? How'd you do all this? And most of it's just, you know, being scrappy.
Yes, sir.
Right? Always learning. Like, you didn't, all the stuff we're talking about, where'd you go to college?
Texas A&M.
Okay, my wife's an Aggie.
Oh,
so did you take business at A&M?
I wished I'd have taken more. I didn't major in it.
Yeah, so, you know, you had to teach yourself all this stuff, right? If you can teach yourself all this stuff, if I can teach myself all this stuff, why can't anybody teach themselves all this stuff?
Yes, sir.
But most people aren't willing to put in the work.
You mentioned it briefly there. I thought about it with you listening to your story, but you had mentioned, you know, the technical aspect. So when you were eating the mustard and ketchup sandwiches, like, you had a technical skill that
I had to teach myself everything. I didn't
or
take.
you had to acquire a technical skill.
Yeah, because it wasn't like I took 4 years of computer in college.
Where you could code.
I took one class and I cheated at it. But I got this job and selling software, and it was just like, okay, it's sink or swim, right? And I would read the computer manuals. I would stay at night at the computer store. I would take one of those computers home to that apartment, and I would teach myself everything. And then when I got a paycheck, I bought a little $99 computer, Texas Instrument one, and I taught myself programming, started teaching myself more and more and more. And I realized, okay, I'm not bad at this, right? I never knew it before, but I found it and I liked it. But I had to teach myself everything. And I would tell myself, in the technology business, there are two people. There's the people that invented it, and there's everybody else. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be there with the people who invented it or created it, but I'm tied with everybody else when I start. Right? So I can learn when something new comes out, I can put in the time to learn it before all the other, you know, people who didn't create it. And that's what I did. And by being ahead of everybody else in selling or supporting or adapting the technology, then I got really, really good at it. Mm-hmm. And that made it even easier for me.
So I guess I'm kind of trying to frame up some advice for a young person. Might be something of, you know, have your idea, sure, but you have to have some type of technical knowledge on the thing, the industry.
So you got to be curious, right? Mm-hmm. You know, if there's something you had to learn the apparel industry.
Yes, sir.
How much time did you spend reading and learning and online and going through things and making mistakes? And that's the example, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you're out there, okay, I want to do this, this, and this, and this. Great. You just got to give it a shot.
Yes, sir.
There's no perfect approach. But one thing I will tell you, you got to be careful not to fall for all the online traps, like drop shipping. Like, you know, my son, like, Dad, look at this. They said you can make all this money. I'm like, Jake, let me just tell you something. If I had a great idea for drop shipping, you know, the one thing I'm not going to do is tell everybody else, right? I'm going to do it myself and just kill it, right?
Yeah.
You know, if I've got this thing, you know, this magic approach for stocks, you think I'm going to tell everybody else who's going to go out buy the same stocks before I buy them or whatever? No, I'm just going to keep it myself and make all that money.
Right.
The great ideas people don't share. And when you came up with apparel, you went from, what are you doing wasting your time out with all these videos, right? You know, it's so stupid, so stupid, so stupid, right? Focus on bull riding, you know, focus on what you do. But you found out you had a knack for it. You had to try all these different things, and then you were curious, and you had to learn how to edit. You had to deal with all the editing stuff. You had to learn all this technology that you had no idea about when you first got started, right? But you put in the time. And that's the key for anybody getting started. You can try 1,000 different things, but there are no shortcuts. You have to put in the time. And when you find something you love, then put in the time to be great at it. Yes, because once you're great at something, whether it's apparel, whether it's bull riding, whether it's making videos, no one quits anything they're good at, you know, because it's fun and you can make money at it. And that's the difference.
Yes, sir.
But give yourself credit, right? You became a, you know, championship rider, right? Online YouTuber, right? That crushed it. Now you got a great following on the other platforms. Went from merch to a whole apparel company, and you're up this year, right? Making a killing. You're the BDE in your town.
Yes, sir.
And so, I mean, you should be proud of that, but that you are the perfect example.
Yes, sir.
You know, coming from a small town, going to A&M, which my wife and my sister-in-law and my niece and her new husband, Parker, and Lauren, all tell me A&M is great. But, you know, I'm not buying it yet.
Yeah, no, College Station. Hey, we've got all kinds of NBA athletes that come out of that basketball program.
Yeah, Chris Middleton, a whole bunch,
Yeah. Speaking of, under 25 guy in the league right now that somebody to build a team around. Number one would be Luka.
Yeah.
But then who else out there is a threat? That
Luka and nobody else counts.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about all those other guys, right? Because then they'll be saying, why'd you talk this dude up, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I could not keep my eyes off the court at y'all's games.
It's fun, right? What people don't realize, it's like going to an Aggie football game with a certain respect, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I still don't understand why y'all stand up the whole game, but that's a whole different. And I understand the 12th man and all that.
Yeah.
But standing up, it's just insane. But you know, you feel the energy the minute you walk in.
Yes, sir.
And that's what makes it different than watching on TV. And with the NBA game and it's a big game, just everybody, because that, you know, it's less about the game and more about the experience. Like when I got to the NBA, the NBA was selling basketball. I'm like, okay, and I would say this to David Stern, rest in peace, David. He was the commissioner. I'm like, name the score of the last game you went to.
Dang.
Yeah, what is, like, name the one dunk that really stood out.
Yeah.
But tell me who you were with. Bam. Tell me how you felt. Bam. And when it's a close game and that ball's in the air, right, and you're waiting and you're holding your breath to see if it goes through and you're happy or sad, right? And then if it goes through and you win, you're hugging people you've never seen before in your life and you'll never see again, right?
Yeah.
That's just a completely unique experience.
Yes.
You can remember, you know, you talk to people all the time. I remember I went to the Mavs game with my buddy who got sick on the people, threw up right on the people in front. Best thing ever. Did the Mavs win? I don't remember, but we had a great time. You know, I went with my girl back then. Now she's my wife, and it was great because I didn't have to say nothing because I'm not a big talker. Just let the game do all the talking, high-five, a little small talk. You know, it's all about the experience. And so, you know, knowing what business you're in is key. You know, and that's what makes going to an NBA game special because we work really, really hard to create energy and make it a unique experience that you'll remember the experience more than the game because you don't know if the game's going to be good, right? There's going to be games that are just 30-point blowouts, win or lose, that get boring real quick on the court. But if you're having fun with everything on the Jumbotron and everywhere else, then that's a good thing.
One question I did I've always thought, like, I think I heard Gary Vee say it or something, but like MLB didn't allow a lot of people, a lot of other, maybe like social media to like license highlights and all that, where basketball did.
Always put it out there, yeah.
And it seems that the NBA has just really grown in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, online, we dominate. I mean, NFL dominates on television. We dominate the NFL and everybody else, including soccer, online. Just because our highlights are just because of the athleticism and the simplicity of understanding the game. I mean, you know, when you talk about worldwide brands, there's LeBron, there's Luka, there's Steph, right? That's because we're online. And excuse me, we let the players' personalities come through more than like the MLB. Like I love the Rangers. They won the World Series. You know, maybe 3 players I can name if I saw them.
Yeah. I don't know that I would recognize them if they walked
in. The Cowboys, you'd recognize Dak, maybe Micah Parsons, maybe CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was there another resurgence when The Last Dance came out?
Yeah, but it didn't really help us as much as the archival stuff, the nostalgic stuff, and all that. Right? It got some interest, but more on MJ stuff.
Yeah, it gave all the repost pages something to go grab
right, 90s MJ, right, and all that stuff. Yeah, all the memes, which is great. If Michael was in the game today, he'd be just another player. All that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll just wrap it up with like a few kind of rapid fire questions. But if you order food standing up, are you tipping?
Yes.
Me too. Everybody says no, but that's before you order. They're about to handle your food.
The way I look at it is I'm the luckiest motherfucker on the planet, right? And there's somebody grinding it out, right? So you know how like when you order something and it'll be like 20, like Uber Eats, I use a lot, 29% tip, you know, you're my hero type thing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be this dude's hero, you know, because it's going to change their day.
Right.
Not going to change my day. So I always tip.
That's a really good point. Who's your most redneck relative?
Oh my God. Well, like I said, my wife's an Aggie, so I got a lot of them. Probably my sister-in-law's former husband, whose stepdad actually is a beekeeper. And when we go to these family events, he just wants to talk about honey the whole time. But her granddad, before he passed, that's who took us to PBR and all the bull riding,
nice.
All that stuff, right? Because they were farmers. My wife spent as a kid a lot of time on the farm, so we've got plenty of redneck in our family. Yeah.
That's awesome. What's the biggest animal you think you could take in a fight?
A 10-year-old.
Could you rob a bank successfully?
No, man.
I feel like you'd be able to break it down and like.
No, I mean I can figure out the way to get it there, but I'd be like, "What the fuck am I doing?" You know. But can I figure it out? Yeah. That's not my DNA.
Oh man. Well, we end up with the last question is just life advice for the audience, just something that you've always circled back to.
Man, you know what I've learned as I've gotten older. You know, when I turned 20, I thought, now I'm older. Turned 25, I'm a quarter of a century, right? I'm 30. Oh my God, I'm 30 years old. 40. Have you hit 40 yet?
No, sir.
Okay. You hit 40, you're going to go, I'm old, 40. Now, I look back at 40 and go, I was younger, right? So whatever, as you get older, never think of yourself as old, you know, because when you get even older, you're going to look back and say, why did I hold back? Right? Why didn't I not do everything that I wanted to do, and I thought I shouldn't do it because of how old I am?
Yes.
Why? Well, why didn't I wear rodeo time all the time? Right? Yeah. You know, why didn't I wear the hat? Why didn't I do this? Because I thought what other people thought, or because it wasn't age appropriate? Hell no. That was the biggest mistake I made. I think along my path was I thought, okay, I'm getting older now, and that's like, nah. Man, the only day you're old is when they're putting you in that pine basket, you know, that pine box, and it's over.
Yeah.
Right. Until then, have fun. Be young, have fun.
If you had to go back to the ketchup and mustard sandwiches, what's the one thing you would miss the most after having been a billionaire?
Just being able to sit at a bar with my boys and not have people walk up to me. You know, just being able to get fucked up and nobody cared.
Oh, that's what you miss about back then.
Yeah.
Got you. But what would you miss if you had to go back, having been a billionaire?
Oh, now? My plane.
Yeah.
My plane. Hell yeah, right? It's just like, because it's just like, I get to go to L.A. or I got to go to, you know, wherever, right? How long to fire it up? 2 hours? Okay, see you in 2 hours. Bam, I'm there.
Dang.
Oh, yeah, dang is like an understatement. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like,
I thought it might be a food or a drink.
No,
or
hell no. Like, literally, I'm more of a 7-Eleven guy. Someone was asking me the other day, Okay, are you a foodie? No, man. I went and was talking to somebody, and they're like, well, can you eat this? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, once I like something, I'll just eat it all the time, right? I don't care. I'm not a foodie at all. Same with drinking, whatever. Just what, because, you know, I just try to, like I said, I'm the luckiest mother on the planet.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it happened to me, but I try not to take it for granted. And I try to enjoy every minute of that with, you know, on my own, with my wife, with my kids, with family. You only get one shot.
Man, I can't thank you enough for giving me an hour of your life. That's so.
No, it's great. I loved it,
so
man.
wild
I loved it.
that you would do this.
Yeah, I'm so used
appreciate
to like the typical shit, and you guys definitely are not typical to what I have to deal with. So, and that's a compliment. That is definitely a compliment.
No, I appreciate it. Yes, sir. I have one like 30-second skit idea, just
Sure.
like you don't even have to get up. But other than that, I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Let's go.
I'm Dale Brisby. We're on to the next one. Everybody go look out costplusdrugs.com. That's the website?
Costplusdrugs.com.
And go to a Mavs game. And anything Mark Cuban is doing, follow him online and purchase it now.
I'm Dale Brisby. I want everybody to go to Rodeo Time.
.com. That's
Rodeo
it.
Time. Hi, I'm Dale Brisby. I want you to support everything that I do. So go to rodeotime.com, buy everything. And if you wear it, you are going to be one handsome or a hot motherfucker.
And scene. Oh, man.